90th between 2nd and 1st Avenues, and from there I used to go to all the schools in the city.
Tell me about stickball. How did that work?
Stickball. Well, stickball was, you had to be pretty good to play stickball, you know, with the group of kids in our area. He went from drawing into building model airplanes, and he was so good at that. He was like God. And of course I tried to do that as well, but I couldn't do it. The drawing I could do, but building model airplanes was beyond my ability.
He has a very fine hand at sketching and the way he sees things, and his photography is amazing. That he's a true master.
It was very demanding, and they swore you would get a job when you graduated. Like any school would do that, but.
And what was fun about Bill Melendez is when he'd come east, he sported a big black mustache, the same as Bill Seitler. They both had these big black bristling mustaches, and it was to see them sitting there talking to each other. They were the only guys with a black mustache that I know.
I didn't know he was an illustrator. I thought he was a photographer because his photographs, and I just remember these photographs from the 1950s, black and white, unbelievable photographs.
They'd be the same character, but there'd be a lot of subtle differences that would take place.
What I'd like to say about Ray is that he is the complete Renaissance man. It's not only cartooning and animation, but Ray is like excels in everything that he touches, from photography to illustration to art history to you name it, he's good at it.
We used to draw on the billboards. That was another thing. It was a sort of an early form of graffiti, actually. They didn't call it graffiti then, but you know, we used to draw on billboards, on the street, anywhere we could find some place to put a mark on.
I showed him these photographs that I had just taken, and he flipped out over them. And he said, "These are amazing. I can't believe what an eye you have." I said, "Well, Ray, you got an eye too, and thanks for noticing." So the next thing you know, Ray and I are collaborating on going out to take pictures together and so forth.
Part of the fun of it was the people I worked with there were all movie buffs. So we, you know, the talk was about movies all the time. You know, we'd always discuss which movie had you seen and all. And I happen to be, I love doing imitations of Lionel Barrymore. You know, we'd.
He was so sweet. He looked around and said, "Oh, these great drawings. Who are doing this?" and everything. And later on, like, gee, you know, he thought we were doing great drawings. We didn't realize how big he was, you know, a professional.
There were so many of these great designers that were sitting in that hotel room that night that we were there, and I was just so overwhelmed by the degree of talent that he had assembled.